The following presentation is made possible through a grant from the Aetna Foundation.
My name is Howard Josepher, and I am the founder and executive director of Exponents, an agency that helps people with drug problems. Many years ago, I overcame my own heroin addiction, and since then have helped thousands overcome their addictions through a course I teach called Mastering the Beast Within. Join me now as I speak with a group of my graduates who are in various stages of mastering their own personal beasts. Before we can confront addiction, it is crucial that we understand the root cause. We must identify the beast within. When you look at addiction, you know that when you were addicted, when you were strung out, that you really believed you had to do some of the crazy, self-destructive things that we did in order to get our drugs. We believed it. And many of us have learned that we really don't have to do those things. So I see addiction, I see the beast within as being that troubled mind. The beast within is the troubled mind. And I know that my mind was very troubled when I was an addict.
I came from a dysfunctional family, and at a very early age, I could understand me being treated different, neglected, and not accepted. I guess that's why I turned to other outlets as drugs and alcohol, and to calm, my mind, to try to not think.
Right.
To just quiet the committee that was up there.
What were those voices saying to you?
You're not good enough. You're ugly. You'll never be nothing. All negative stuff.
Yeah.
And I fed into it. I bought into it wholeheartedly.
If your troubled mind is telling you you ain't good enough, how do you end up feeling?
Depressed.
Okay.
Depressed.
Yeah.
And then I used drugs as an outlet to think it was going to make me feel better. In all actuality, it only felt worse.
So you're taking drugs to feel better. You're taking drugs to medicate your depression.
Exactly.
Okay. So we came to some kind of conclusion that there was something wrong with us. And we ended up feeling outside, we don't belong, we're bad. And those kind of conclusions produce the pain.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the pain produces the depression. And taking drugs is our way of coping with depression.
It was.
So drugs can quiet the beast within.
Right.
From your experience, why is it so important to identify the beast within as the troubled mind? That it's our own troubled thinking that causes us to do some of the crazy things we did.
I would listen to it and act out by any means necessary what to do. And what I had to do was use to remove the pain, to remove what I was feeling because I didn't want to feel.
And so the beast within was controlling what you did and how you behaved.
Exactly.
Coming home, the first thing I want to do was get high.
The beast was already working.
It was working.
What was it telling you?
Go get high. You can do this.
You can do this.
You can do this.
And go get high.
Forget about parole. Forget about the other 4 or 5 years that you got on parole.
Right.
You can do this again. That was the beast I had inside me.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a beast.
Yeah. You cannot master the beast until you acknowledge that it exists. Otherwise, it controls us from the unconscious, from beneath the surface. But if you acknowledge, I've got this beast inside, then you can take it on.
It speaks to you in your own voice. So that's what makes it so convincing to believe it. But I saw the results.
So, like JR said, the beast is insidious. It's when we can really identify the beast within, the troubled mind, and we can ask ourselves, is this really true, what it's telling me? Do I have to keep listening to this beast that's causing me to do things that are making me go in and out of jail, making me continue to use and abuse myself? We got the beast and we say, okay, here's the beast, yama, yama, yama. And here's this other part of me saying, I don't have to listen to that beast. In order to overcome the beast within, it is vital that we understand the link between addiction and depression. If you believe negative things about yourself, that you're not good enough, that you're unworthy, that you're bad, it's going to make you feel sad. It's going to put you in pain. Some people call this the pain of depression. And some people say it's depression that makes us think negatively. So it's important that we come to understand and learn about depression. Did you understand when you were using drugs that you were suffering from the condition known as depression?
I didn't understand it was depression, but I did understand that I didn't feel normal, included. I wanted to be by myself, with myself. I didn't want to mingle and hang out with my peers and stuff anymore. And finally someone said to me, like, you're always in the house and, hiding out and antisocial, you're depressed. And that's when I focused in on that, depressed. And I had it explained to me what depression was. And the beast didn't want me to agree with it, but I knew something was wrong.
So at some point, you learn that you have the same kind of condition that 25 million Americans have and are being treated with legal medications for their depression. And we turn to an illegal medication to cope with our depression. But if you would have known that the reason you were taking drugs was because you are suffering from depression, would it have made any difference to you?
In the beginning, I like using. I like the feeling. I live to use and use to live because I enjoyed it. And it wasn't until as life went on and the things that I had to do to get this feeling, as when the depression started sinking, I didn't care no more.
So it's very possible that even though you enjoyed using, you were already depressed. But by what happened to you through your addiction, you ended up even becoming more depressed.
Yes, exactly. So true.
You said when you understand you were suffering from depression, what difference did that awareness make for you?
I didn't find out till a year ago that I was self-medicating my depression with crack.
Yes.
To calm me.
And when you found that out?
I was like, wow, but
what was it? Wow?
That
it made some sense to you?
Yeah, it made sense to me. Everything started to fit in that when I smoked crack, I would sit down and be so calm.
You found your own medication out in the street that gave you that kind of balance. Yes.
I used to get up every day in the morning. I was depressed when I get up because I was also a heroin addict. I used to do criminal activity to have my drug and other drugs because when I was to be like in so-called my friends and my crowd, they liked me because I have the drugs. and I was accepted. You know, I wasn't hearing, oh, you're going to be like your father, you're going to amount to nothing, or you keep doing the same thing, you're going to go back to jail. These people were telling me like, hey, that's my friend. Hey, John, how you doing? And I was accepted. So I used to run to the drugs to get high. But the thing is, in the morning, I used to get up very down and very depressed and alone. I could be around 10 people, but I felt isolated. I thought I was alone. There was nobody there.
I see. So taking the drugs not only helped you medicate your depression, but being a drug dealer,
Right.
being the man, also made you feel like you were somebody,
Right.
which was, I guess, in a way, another way of trying to address your depression. So we start to come to an understanding that our drug-taking behavior is happening not because we're just screwed up people, something's wrong with us. It's happening also because we've got this very real condition called depression. And that depression is pain and suffering. And if you're in pain and you're suffering, you're going to look for some way to escape from that experience. If we are to have any hope of eliminating the despair that drives addictive behavior, we must learn about depression. Once we learn that the underlying cause, the root to our addiction, is that we suffer from depression, then it becomes important to learn about depression, to learn how it works, to learn what triggers it, and also to learn how to cope with it without taking illegal substances.
The depression came in because it's like, how long have you been getting high? It's like, I'm at middle age. I'm at a place that I should be halfway through retirement. I'm now just getting started.
Coming from my background, that wears a big stigma, you know, being depressed and stuff like that. You have to see people, doctors and stuff like that, you know, like, really I was kind of ashamed of it. But I wanted help so bad that I took the suggestion to see a therapist. And like, it was explained to me what depression really was, that it was a treatable illness, and I wanted to get better. So I started seeing a therapist weekly. And today, I must say, like, that was one of the best decisions in my life.
In coming to that understanding that it is depression that we're dealing with, we also come to know about depression that it comes and it goes. And so you could be way down the line and have a good amount of time away from taking drugs, but is it your experience that you see this depression coming and going? And how do you deal with it if you see it like that?
These things is going to happen. You're going to be depressed tomorrow maybe, or the day after. It's how you deal with it. A lot of times, I'm not on medication like some people are on medication for depression, but I talk to people when I'm feeling a certain way and I'm going through something, and to me that will be my medication to sort of calm me down for the rest of the day.
The beast is still in me. I know that. It's still there. You know, sometimes maybe not using, sometimes I get angry and it tries to rip out. You know, I step back and I calm them down. I say, go back to sleep, man, because you're not welcome here. And I call my network, I call people up and I talk about it. And I start feeling good about it. And I like the things I do in my life right now.
So we're hearing that an important way of coping with depression is to talk about what's going on for you, to have a support group or friends or even a counselor or a therapist so that you can express yourself and express your feelings. If we're ever able to master this beast within, we've got to understand that it is connected and part of our depression. And then learning that we have depression also means we've got to be able to recognize the early signs. We got to see it while it's happening so that we could take those steps that we need to take in order to cope with the depression in a way that does not become self-destructive. Addictive behavior stems from a lack of self-worth. In order to break this destructive cycle, we must learn to respect and love ourselves. We must learn how to build self-esteem. To feel better about ourselves, to not be in such a negative relationship with ourselves, means we have to start acting and behaving in a way that we could feel a little pride about ourselves, that we could feel good about ourselves and give ourselves credit. And so building self-esteem becomes important. And I'd like to know how you go about building self-esteem for yourselves.
I overcame my fears and I went back to school. I challenged myself. Once I got in school, I got me a job. I just kept looking in the mirror and saying that erase all your fears. Be all you can be.
So you learn to build self-esteem by challenging your fears.
Right.
And by challenging your fears and maybe doing things that you wanted to do but were afraid of,
To do. That's right.
you started to feel good about yourself.
Yes, I do. Absolutely wonderful.
So it's one way, it's a good way of challenging our fears. How else did you find ways to build your self-esteem?
I felt a change in me to the point where I even asked the A officer to call a sergeant because I wanted to be locked in my cubicle to kick a drug habit that I've been having while I was incarcerated. And after I accomplished that, and I knew I was going to the parole board, and the lady told me, well, what you gonna do differently, Mr. Velasquez, from the last 2 times that you came before us? And I told her I'm gonna step up to the plate. I'm gonna take responsibility. I'm gonna take initiative to do things differently. I'm not gonna hang out with the negative people, places, and things. I'm gonna be with the positive people, places, and things.
One choice I hear that works for us is challenging ourselves. That challenging ourselves helps us to grow, to be bigger, to be better.
My biggest fear was me. I was my biggest fear. I got it my own way. But once I got clean, and I had to learn how to like me first. I had to like me first to get to where I love me today. And that's how I started to build my self-esteem. I started to accept me for who I was. My good, my bad, my indifferent, my ugly. I just accepted the whole package and moved on. And every day it's a new challenge. Every day I wake up, and some days I don't want to get up, but I get up and I show up. You know, I completed a ride and I started glowing and people started giving me positive feedback and all this, but I had to give it to myself first. I had to do that.
Okay.
Well, me, my self-esteem got built up without me even noticing it. Honestly, that. Right now in my building, I'm Uncle John to everybody, all the kids. You know, I got a whole bunch of keys, my neighbors' keys, friends' keys. They trust me now. I really feel part of a community now, with my family, with my friends. And my self-esteem right now is very high. I think highly of myself right now. At one time, though, I did not. I literally thought I needed drugs to complete anything. Now I know I don't need none of that. I do not need none of that. And I could complete everything I put my mind to, I could fully complete it. And, you know, and a lot of that came, you know, from your class. When I arrived, when I came here, I got all this information and I'm running with it and I'm sharing it with a lot of people.
So we're learning that building self-esteem has to do with challenging yourself, challenging your fears. It has to do with acting in a way that helps you to feel good about yourself, like showing up. Building self-esteem can also come about by being responsible and becoming a respected member of your community. So these things like showing up, like challenging ourselves, like being responsible, becomes a part of a new value system. And when you live according to these values, your values, not values given to you by others, but something you have come to through your own experience, that when you live according to these values, you start to feel good about yourself. You're building self-esteem. And if you esteem yourself, you're not going to be in pain. And if you're not in pain, you're not going to need to medicate yourselves. When we learn to step back and observe our thoughts, we're on our way to mastering the beast within. In overcoming addiction, my experience is that the beast never really goes away. It raises its head from time to time. But what I've learned is that my thinking can still get troubled. But if I can step back and not react, then I got a choice. I give myself an option by not reacting. And with an option, I can choose. How do I deal with this situation that no matter what anybody else thinks, I'm going to feel good about me? This stepping back, this not reacting, is a way of mastering the troubled mind, mastering the beast within. So how have you learned, or what are you learning now that helps you to get on top of this beast, that helps to give you mastery over your own troubled mind?
If my feelings were hurt, I would spontaneously react. If something didn't go my way, I would spontaneously react. And what I did is, once I recognized that those triggers about me that were destructive, I started taking a look at the way I think and what would happen when I did the negative thinking, when the beast would raise his head and want to just act up. So now I don't let the beast tell me what to do. You the beast. I control you. I tell it what to do.
Do other people see their beast?
For me, I had to admit defeat to the beast.
You admit defeat to the beast.
You understand? I recognize and I respect how powerful the beast is. Then, for me, I went out and I got me some type of tools. And my tools today is a support network. You know, identify people that can identify with me. I don't compare, I don't judge, I just identify. And I talk about how I feel today. I don't hold it in. I talk about how I feel. And with all that, and I put it all together, this is how I master my beast.
So you can see the beast talking, you see the troubled mind, and that what you will do with that is to talk with your support friends, your support group, which gives you the ability to get on top of that beast.
The beast is very real, and it exists, and I think it will always exist, but today I don't give him the benefit of the doubt because I am controlled now. Before I couldn't control it, but I learned to control it today. I step back and I analyze the situation, and I try not to fall victim again, you know? I realize that it will be very dangerous for me to take that step forward without analyzing it and creating a bad situation for myself.
You're stepping back and observing
Yes,
and thinking about the consequences.
yes. So I don't give that beast the benefit of the doubt. So for me, that will be mastering it. Because if I don't step back and analyze the situation, just fall right into it, I can become a victim all over again. That's something that I don't choose to do.
I had to become aware of how my beast has a tendency to attack me through my attitudes and my behaviors and my emotions. You know, I had to become aware of the pain. I had to remember the pain that that beast caused me. And by me being aware, I haven't totally mastered my beast, but I'm on my way to it.
I always try to step back and analyze the situation, what's the consequences I could get by just reacting without thinking. And, you know, there's times, sometimes I have like a minor slip, and I stop myself. I said, nah, I'm not going to lose everything I work for. You know, I'm going to end up in prison or I'm going to end up dead. And right now I want to live today, and I want to continue my life the way it is.
So we're all saying that the ability to step back, the ability to be aware of what the troubled mind, of what the beast within is saying, is what gives us control. It gives us mastery. And if we have control, then we got choices. And that if we make the kind of choices that we could feel good about ourselves, then we're building self-esteem. This stepping back is called many things. It's called mindfulness. It's called witness consciousness. It's been what people have been teaching for thousands of years, that mastery of the beast within is within our power. And it's just to change from being a reactive, just going on instinct, to stepping back and choosing, who am I going to be today? And whoever you're going to be today, I hope you love that person. If you are someone in despair, I hope you realize from watching this video that there is hope and that mastering the beast is within your reach. You can succeed. You can learn to love and respect yourself again. Thank you. For more information, call us at 1-800-673-7370 or visit our website at exponents.org.